today has actually been kind of crazy. The homies are already set up in the call, so I have no problem going in and telling you what we're going to do today. First off, thank you guys for tuning in. Today has been actually kind of crazy, especially if you've been on Twitter. They actually dropped the trailer for... It's not even a trailer. It's a teaser trailer for Shang-Chi with a full trailer to come further down. I know when I was in the Ukraine, I kind of went over already the Wanda... I was about to say WandaVision. The Black Widow trailer, as well as the Loki trailer. But I want to see what my friends have to say about it. One of the reasons I'm going to talk to them about it a little bit. And there's been a few updates when it comes to... a few other things in media, movie, whatnot, etc., especially involving comics. And you guys know that's one of my main wheelhouses when it comes to these things. So, with that being said, I hope you guys are ready for Media Monday. It's mostly MCU news, but I still got a few other things I want to add in there anyway. So let me see if I can get these guys in a call. There's been a lot that's fucking happened in the world of the MCU. But before we get to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, before we get to it, I think we should look and at least talk about, only at least in passing, right, this Shang-Chi trailer, teaser trailer that dropped today. Now, I don't know if you guys can... What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen with you guys in the call. So you should be able to see it.
We're also watching your stream, too.
Yeah, watching your stream so we can see the comments, so it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over real quick. So, oh crap, I keep forgetting to turn on this thing. So what ended up happening was today we were treated with the teaser trailer. I like to keep saying this because apparently there's supposed to be a bigger, larger trailer coming out. Yo, True T Mac, thank you for the tier 1 sub and welcome to the Taste Bud Sub Club. Can I get some noise in the chat? But no, they dropped.
It felt like a real trailer.
Did it right?
I didn't know it was a teaser. Like
me neither.
It says it right up here. It's official teaser. And I know Sammy Lou was actually talking about it. First off, happy birthday. The star of Shang-Chi, his birthday is today. And
that's a nice gift.
And what ended up happening was they dropped a teaser trailer. So for those who have not seen it at home, this is our first look. Well, not mine, because I've watched this teaser trailer like 30 times. But if you guys haven't seen it, here's the first look at Shang-Chi. Which looks fucking amazing, by the way.
Yeah, man. I was kind of surprised.
My man's got the Kung Fu Hustle poster on the wall.
I gave you 10 years to live your life.
Aquafina in there.
And where did that get you? You walked in my shadow.
Oh, shit!
I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son.
This fall? Is that the Mandarin? That is 100% the Mandarin, Captain Charisma. That is definitely the Mandarin. That's the Mandarin people wanted to see.
Oh, wow.
It better be.
Gonna happen.
Okay, I'll save it. I got a note.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Yo, my man is actually ready for the role. I was not expecting him to be this nice on the action side of things. I was not. Demon Democracy, I think that was Death Mask actually. Or Death Dealer, or Death, something like that. I can't remember his name.
We make a good team.
So, yo, chat, let me know how you guys feel about this Shang-Chi trailer, the teaser trailer. Guys, I know you saw it already. How did y'all feel about, like, the first glimpse at Sammy Lou as, like, Marvel Studios Shang-Chi?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a simplification of it, but
Right.
it looked dope to me. I don't know too much about the actual comic book character,
that
but
they don't
it
either.
looks like it felt like the next chapter. It felt like Marvel is moving in a direction that's like such an expanded version of what it was what we've been used to.
Right.
And I think that's super dope. Like, because I always wonder, like, what can they do next? But the stuff we saw here was so dope, and we've never seen martial arts
Bruh.
in the MCU yet.
It is.
And I think that's super clutch. Like, I'm ready for that.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Like, I didn't think, and like my old roommate, one of my good friends, Oliver, is a martial artist himself, and he's one of the people I always kind of like run through when I see like martial arts stuff. Not like to, to verify it, but like I want to make sure that it's not as good as I think it is. Like, I'm not looking at this through some kind of like skewed glass, right? I'm not looking at this from any kind of way. Like, this looks ridiculous. And by that, I mean, like, we have not seen, like you said, Tech, we have not seen martial arts like this, not to this degree, not where it's like very, central to the story in a Marvel film yet. Let's also talk about the fact, and I know you said you weren't too familiar with Shang-Chi, the character, right? But, and everybody says this, there's a billion, I ain't gonna say a billion, but there's a lot of characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that actually that can hold up hand to hand, like in a fight, right? They got the Daredevils, we got your Iron Fist that, a lot of people do not ever want to hear from again. And, as well as like Wolverine, and it goes down the line. But as far as the MCU, they don't have many. But Shang-Chi, I love the fact that like he's just a normal character. He's a normal person, but he's able to use chi, right? So like kind of like a Dragon Ball character without like the fireballs and stuff like that.
Shit, is it the same chi as Iron Fist?
See, why do you keep doing that? We're trying to get as far away. But
Hey,
it should be. See, the thing is, I don't think it's the same because, especially
That's
in
confusing.
Yeah, because I think in the sense of the MCU, it might not be the same, but in the comics, they very much understood each other. Like, oh, I control chi, and this other character can, and it's a very living, breathing thing, right? Like they definitely have chi. I'm just not sure. I should say, let me clear this up. I'm not sure if it should be the same thing in the MCU. In the comics, it was obviously chi across the board, right? But I can't say for sure how they're gonna do it in the movie. We also get our first glimpse at the real Mandarin. And based off of this timeline, it looks like it's gonna take place like before, like after, and like during the blip, right? And like if you think about
really?
it, yeah, like
How'd you figure that out?
so because well, one, it goes back to when he was a kid, right? Like there hasn't been 20 years passed since the blip.
Right.
So obviously it has to be. And on top of that, the 10 Rings has been around since, Iron Man 1, right? Since the first Iron Man film, we've known about the 10 Rings. And this is our first look at the organization as well as the real Mandarin from, comics as well as just the lore what people was expecting. So like I feel like even though this is a new character to a lot of people, the way Marvel has written their entire universe, like you have some instance of knowing who you've seen some of this before, and whether it be just the rings or heard the rumors or just heard the Mandarin's name before, then you know why like this is a big thing.
Yeah, it's odd. I was more familiar with Mandarin before this than I was Shang-Chi. Like, of course, I know who Mandarin is before even Iron Man. Was that 2 or 3?
Three.
3.
It was 3.
3. That horrible plot twist that ruined me.
Okay, can I interject real quick?
Go on.
Maybe maybe with the 2021 lens, we're glad that Sir Ben Kingsley isn't the Mandarin. If you feel me.
I mean, yeah.
Like maybe a clever pump fake that we now have an actual Asian actor as the.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so maybe that's a good thing that
It's definitely
that
a good
he wasn't
thing.
the real thing.
Well, also,
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
also, like that's a good point. Like the original, like father of like Shang-Chi was completely different, as well as the Mandarin was definitely just like, definitely played to some very bad kind of racist stereotypes in a lot of instances. So them changing the character like down the line, right, is even morphing it into the fact that Shang-Chi's father is the Mandarin and not like this other character that was like his name was like Fu Manchu or something like that. And then they like changed it later on, right? So it's a good thing that they kind of changed it, as well as so they have a few characters that I recognize, like the full blown mask ninja that you see there while they were Shang-Chi was a child, as well as fighting when he was older. Death Dealer or I can't remember. I think it's like Death Dealer or something like that. And I remember something about stealing like blood or something like that to keep somebody young, and I think that was like Shang-Chi's father, which could be a potential storyline point here. That's the only reason I say that is because the Mandarin is still alive, and like why would you want to keep him? I mean, unless he's about to die and he wants his kid to take up the mantle. So I guess it could kind of be something like that. But Shang-Chi's sister is also in this film, who I'm not familiar with at all. You saw a guy with a knife on his hand. His name is Razor Fist. Yeah, it's really goofy, right?
Like Taserface.
Jesus. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. The shitty bad guy with the shitty bad guy name too. Oh my God. But also, if you look at some of the scenes here, it definitely looks like they go back to like Mad Rapport. Like it definitely gives me like Mad Rapport.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that too.
Yeah, right. But another thing is like I'm kind of wondering how they're gonna tie all of this together. And like we did see like some mention of like we did see like the mention of the 10 rings. I want to know how they put this back into the scheme of things for, you know, the MCU, because there's a bunch of stuff happening and we already know it's in the Marvel universe, but what happens to bring it back full circle to, you know, back to these people that we know, if we're going to do so? Is that something you guys are interested in, or is that just like you think this could stand alone as a movie, just like how they did Black Panther, which is, I think is going to be crazy because it has the same like feel, like they paid the same kind of attention to the detail, like the authenticity of it, right? And even the director was saying something about like shattering these like stereotypes of, you know, Asian-led films, as well as just how, you know, just if you just look how the martial arts is done in this film, like you can tell that there's a whole new level of how they're like approaching this. So do you guys think this is one of those movies that could like stand on its own and like kind of set up more stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I'm just gonna say Marvel can't miss.
Yeah, really.
And they're not
Honestly.
going to miss. Like
Right.
it's just we're too far along for it for no. There's gonna be no duds, no more. You know, they shouldn't have done that. This is gonna be a hit, just like everything else.
I think just like the Ant-Man movies, that they're standalone and they're fine, and Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
they're all fine. They all have a little bit of like splice in, but nobody cares. The question is, will I care at this point after
Yeah.
Endgame that things can be released singly and on their own? Because I'm, you know, the lust to have everything interconnected is there.
But they've already kind of done that.
Yeah, I want to keep going.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna work the same way that Guardians worked, same way that Ant-Man worked. It's gonna be a delight by itself,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have a connection with the characters after this movie, and then once they get interwoven with the other heroes, it's gonna be even more of a connection.
Okay. Well, also, just for the record, they apparently have, I don't know if you guys know who Fin Fang Foom is, but Fin Fang
Yeah.
Foom is the big giant dragon that was apparently like controlled by the 10 rings. Apparently there's something to do with Fin Fang Foom in this movie. Are you guys hoping to see a giant dragon wearing pants or what? Like, cause like it looks crazy in the comics, but it's very much tied to the 10 rings. Will they continue to do this to make it like, you know, that far into dragons and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera? I mean, we do have like the war lions. I think that's what they're
Yeah,
called.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
it looks like dragons and stuff are flying around in the background as well. So it don't seem like it's too far-fetched. Do you think something like this, right? Like the big dragon, big, you know, monster payoff is something that they are leaning towards? Or do you think it might be something a little toned down?
I don't know.
I think it'll be toned down. I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
because they won't even give us Billy Ray, right? What's the guy's name?
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill. They wouldn't give us that. I don't think they would give us a dragon. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't
okay.
either. That seems a little far fetched. I think that would lose a lot of people. Sort of like a giant squid monster at the end of Watchmen.
That's what I was
People weren't
thinking. That's
People
exactly
weren't ready
what I
for
was
that
thinking.
either. So
They
But
weren't
also,
ready.
though, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 intro has this huge monster
That's
that's
true.
fighting. So it's possible, but I will not put my money on that yet.
Why does it feel so natural in Guardians, but not in this environment?
Because we know we're shifting into space, and we're shifting into aliens when we're playing Guardians. But there's like a dragon, like a humanoid dragon.
Yeah.
In in the world, in
Also,
the
speaking of
Earth.
stereotypes, right? We said they're trying to shatter stereotypes with Asian movies with this movie. And, and then. They got rid of old characters like Fu Manchu, who was just a guy who literally had a Fu Manchu mustache. But then maybe like a big Chinese dragon, they
might hint
that's
to it.
not that that's a big stereotype. I haven't seen a lot of dragons in movies, to be real. But like, maybe that's just too far for the whole stereotype. Maybe people would take it less seriously if there was a dragon in it. But I don't know.
Yeah, someone said in the chat, Bishi said in the chat that the human monster in Guardians is likely mostly a joke and half off screen. But even, as far as big monsters are concerned, Dormammu. So we got that.
Right.
We can get big monsters.
They're coming.
Also, there's a scene here with I can't remember her name, but she's Michelle. I can't remember her name. Forgive me. Oliver is in the chat. He might know. But people are speculating that. I have it frozen on this fight scene. It looks like Mandarin is fighting this woman wearing like this green and yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thought process is that this is one of the legendary Iron Fist, one of the first Iron Fist, which has happened before. There's like two, I think it's three actually, that were women who started off and they were Iron Fist at first. So this would be really cool way to work back into Iron Fist, not like the Netflix one, but like a more accurate one, or just a better one in general. No offense to my man, but I think that will be very cool too, to kind of work back to like the street level criminals, because then that way you can definitely walk back into a Luke Cage, a Daredevil, a She-Hulk, stuff like that. I feel like taking this route is another way that they can actually kind of go into it. I don't know if people are actually interested in seeing like Iron Fist again. Me personally, he's definitely a cool character that I want to see. Are you guys complete now that you've seen this trailer? Now that you've seen the trailer and what the Shang-Chi martial arts action is going to be like, Oliver is in the chat saying ass fist. Are you guys hopeful that we can get a more accurate Iron Fist, or is it just like, look, let my man Shang-Chi rock?
Me personally, I feel like Iron Fist definitely got a bad rap.
Yep.
It was not great. It was not terrible, but it was put up against some really good shit. Like, for the first season, Luke Cage is fire.
That shit is so good. Like, and I was one of those people that was not against it. I was like, man, I don't know about this. And then I love that shit. And you're right. Jessica Jones was good as well. But go on, my bad.
Daredevil was good. Punisher was fire.
Yeah.
And Iron Fist was just kind of lackluster. But I think people want the character. I personally just want a good Iron Fist.
Yep.
I trust MCU, Marvel to do it. Just so I can have an Iron Fist and Power Man like show or something. Or scene or
Heroes
something.
for Hire, please.
Yeah, like that
That's
would
what
make me
I want.
so
I want that Heroes for
happy.
Hire.
And I like their chemistry in that.
Finn Jones is a terrible fucking Iron Fist, but I definitely love the chemistry that they were kind of displaying. That was building up, right?
It was on its way.
It was.
I think just like, we've said this when we shot way over on WandaVision with our predictions. I said this before. I think the X-Men actors of past could, bring them in with a new director and a new production and make them shine. I'm not a big fan of the recast. You do what you got to do, but I feel what we got with the Netflix series, those defenders could shine in one of these.
Everyone except, no offense, no shade, Finn Jones. Everyone but him. I think he was the problem.
I think my friend Oliver will agree with you too. I think Oliver in the chat, because my friend Oliver is a very, very prominent martial artist, and we talk about this all the time. Now, obviously, my side of martial arts come from growing up watching like 5 Deadly Venoms and Fist of Legend and all of this extra shit, right? But what I found out? You guys are Jackie Chan fans, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you know who did the fight choreography for this movie? It's one of Jackie Chan's longtime stuntmen. and it's the same guy who did Gorgeous. And this makes so much fucking sense because that's one of my favorite martial arts movies of all time. 1, 2, it's one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies of all time. And you can definitely tell in like, just in this teaser trailer, just how fucking good, like how much of a difference it makes to have somebody who, you know, who had more time into, you know, learn martial arts or get into, you know, this range or just even being a natural at it or whatever the case may be. It's I feel like it's night and day.
Man, the fights in Gorgeous are just insane. And that's what we need in the MCU. And like all the comparisons me and our dork friends all make with the fights, and you know, we're stacking up fights on movies and Hollywood movies and Jason Bourne and all these American Western stuff, they never stack up to shit in the East, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's finally in the MCU, and they got one of the people responsible for its legacy.
Right?
Like
that's
insane.
how you know they're going to do it right.
That's how you know they're going to do it right. Exactly.
Insane.
It looks like they know exactly what they're doing. So just off on the side of things, I would like to point out, I feel like I really want them to tie back into, I saw that they had like, you know, ninjas in here. What if we get a playback to the Ronin kind of side arc that we saw for Hawkeye, right?
Oh,
we know that and this is another reason, this is me just piecing shit together, right? Remember how I said like this takes place throughout the MCU? Because the Mandarin I feel like is gonna be a lot older, right? What if like that was a part of, you know, the Mandarin's, what if that was a part of the Mandarin, right? His crime got even stronger during the blip, and the Ronin, Hawkeye, was one of the only people there. I think that would be a cool way. What if we get that snippet, right? What if it's a flashback and we get like a Hawkeye, you know, during blip, you know, post blip, trying to like off everybody, and it just turns out to be, you know, having something to do with the Mandarin. That's one of the things I was talking about working back.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool, right?
Yeah.
But either way, I just wanted to make sure, I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Chat just the same, man. What do you guys think about the Shang-Chi trailer, as well as just for the YouTubes when this goes up as well? Let me know what you guys think about the Shang-Chi trailer. How do you think it's going to do? Are you excited for it? How'd you feel about the teaser? And I will gladly come back and probably touch on some of the answers myself. But man, I'm super excited about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm even more happy that, like, even if it's not blatant, they found a way to write back into Marvel with just the 10 rings that has been hinted since the beginning of the MCU. So
the absolute beginning, man.
That's cool, right? Like, from the first movie, you literally saw the 10 rings when you saw the creation of Iron Man and the MCU. So, like, them tying all of this together is fucking spectacular.
Yep, that's awesome.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna move down the line, and I'm not gonna, like, you know, review these trailers from, you know, from start to finish, but I'm probably just gonna play them in the background, and I want to know what you guys think about it, right? First, I want to start with the Black Widow trailer, and I'm gonna put it on mute, and I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on it so far, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Ben, give me your thoughts on Black Widow. Like, what's about to happen? Are you excited to see it? Are you gonna take the chance of going to see it in theaters? And do you think it's still, like, important for people to see a Black Widow movie?
Yeah, I'm with tech. I don't think the MCU can do any wrong. But I was a little underwhelmed at first, you know, knowing that she's gone. But it seems like this trailer spoke to me directly, saying like, yo, look at this scene. Look at her hanging off the cliff. Let's pull on these heartstrings a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. This trailer was so much more powerful than the first one. Wasn't it? Man, it's insane. So now I'm, like, intensely interested on how they're going to do this shit. Like, this is such a well put together trailer, which is dangerous. That's what trailers are for, right? Some of the best trailers in the world have led to some of the stinkiest movies, right?
Right.
But so yeah, tug on the heartstrings, man. And then, you know, David Arbor just kicking ass in this trailer,
right?
And then the final, like, Avengers theme song with the Russian choir,
right?
Like, yeah, it got me. I was only half interested the first time, and now I'm enormously interested now. So
I feel the same. Like,
on that Taskmaster helmet. Come
Bro,
on.
that Taskmaster helmet unveil, like, first
I
off,
need that for
Oliver
my
loves
motorcycle
Taskmaster.
tomorrow.
Like,
Man.
I'm really curious to see, honestly, what they're going to do. I'm still stuck on like what happens like after this, right? And I know,
Yeah, right.
I honestly feel like this is gonna tie a lot to some of the things. God damn it, this scene, him sliding down his fucking, and they're in the air, bro. I'm sorry,
Right.
but like that shit is so sick. The sliding with the sword, he's like looking at her the entire time as he's holding the sword and sliding. Oh my god. Anyways, I want to know
Lens
like
flares
Right.
everywhere.
everywhere. J.J. Abrams will be proud. I want to know how this ties back into things, right? And I feel like, and once again, this is Steve mental working right now, right? This is my jumps, right? I feel like there's something in this that's going to tie us back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Whether it be, you know, something along the lines with the power broker, or anything like that, because I feel like that espionage world, they do a really good job.
They've tangled in the past. Mm-hmm. Didn't Natasha and Bucky tangle in the past? Like,
See-
she knows who's. I thought she knew who he was.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, she did.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. She's like, at least remember. Somebody told me that I was reaching when I said that, right? Like, I mentioned that, and I was like, she said that she knew him. Like, I thought
When-
she said
when,
verbatim, I at least thought you would remember me, right? Because they were fighting when Bucky got tricked back into fucking Winter Soldier mode by Baron Zemo in Civil War, right?
Yeah, but when Fury got shot and she knew who it was by the bullet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's
Right.
true. See, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
See, they
Yeah.
have to know each other. So that's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like there's no way this doesn't tie back into, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Hear me out though.
Go ahead.
I
Go
don't
on.
think I don't think it's going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier it ties into.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. We're whatefers. I'm reaching. My arm's going to hurt after this, but I think that this is going to tie in somehow to Loki, because I swear to God, there's a scene in the trailer for Loki.
We're
and
watching
he's
that
sitting there
shit
talking
next,
to
bro.
Natasha.
So look, I'm gonna tell you right now. People, once again, people like to get me off of my fucking crazy high horse, and they're like, Steve, that's not fucking. Damn, he's just fucking seeing him sliding down this. They're in the air. Anyways, I'm sorry. It's so sick, dude. People were telling me I was crazy because I'm thinking that, yeah, that's, you know, Natasha Romanoff, right? And even when, I'm gonna play this trailer one more time, and even when it goes to and you can like get closer, it doesn't look like the actor that they're saying it is. So for me, I'm thinking that, yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that was Natasha, and I think that like that's part of it because they still kind of pointed out that what everybody that gets like, you know, snapped away or with their souls or whatever the case, like it goes somewhere, right? Like even fucking Doctor Strange and them was talking about how they went somewhere else once they were like after they got snapped. Now I'm not sure if that's gonna tie in just the same, but yo, Tech, you know, look, all you got to do is tell it to me, and I'm right there with you. I'm side by side with you, suiting up, shooting the people off the hill to tell us that we're wrong because I believe you, Tech. I believe you.
There's a rumor about the Black Widow movie that is so far-fetched that came out months ago, like maybe last year, that what she like this movie is based off of her fall, like she like leaves that time and goes back in time on this. It gets kind of crazy.
Oh,
but on
wow.
her way down, like in an instant, she goes back to try to fix her wrongs. But it's a stretch. But I could be on board with that too.
Okay, I mean,
That's the way this trailer started.
maybe it's a hindsight thing, right? Maybe it's just like she's remembering all of this shit, right? Like, which isn't a bad thing. But they also like, if that's the case, right? If that is a thing, then could we get a reason for seeing Natasha Romanoff in Loki? Because if what you're saying is true, Tech, then that means that makes all the more sense about how, you know, well, I ain't gonna say all the more sense, but just the fact that, you know, Loki existing outside of time, not being, you know, an actual person, Jesus, and still being able to run into Natasha or Black Widow. So for me, it actually makes sense. Like, I feel like it's something that is possible. There's nothing wrong with letting your imagination get the best of you sometimes, just as long as you can, you know, keep it under control.
Just as long as you're not disappointed when it doesn't come true.
Right.
Exactly.
This show is trash. My dreams didn't come true.
You know what? They didn't do what? That show sucks. But no, once again, we're back in full thing. You said this like 2-3 weeks ago, Tech, on our last time we talked, like, man, we're gonna get like a full year of this shit at this point, right? Like, it's looking like we got July, we got September, we still have December for Spider-Man, we got Loki in the meantime.
What if this is still supposed to happen this year?
I'm just saying, shit's looking really good. What comes after Loki? Is Loki? Is it another show this year, or am I tripping? I gotta get my calendar right.
I think the What If is supposed to be this year.
What If? I think so. I think What If comes out this summer, like during the summer. So maybe after.
Yeah, What If is slated for summer, and then Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's this is a winter, if I'm not mistaken. Winter this year. So there's definitely
Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. I don't think does Miss Marvel come out this year. I don't think Miss Marvel.
It says 2021.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
And I know they've been filming. I'm not sure if it wrapped or whatever, but I've seen shots from the sets.
Oh, the Eternals as well, Captain Charisma.
Yep.
No, so we definitely got some movies, some Marvel films coming out. Man, for me, this shit definitely fits the whole, like, I feel like I'm getting all my comics, like, in, like, live action now. And, like, I really couldn't be happier because it's literally, they're doing it so well that I'm just in love with this shit. I'm just like, yo, just shove that shit into my eyeballs. I want it all.
Oh, yeah. You know what's dope, too, is because it's, like, it's introducing me to characters that I would not have read or, you know, I wouldn't pick up. Like, I wouldn't, like, be on that radar. And it's making me go back and do research. It's making me go back and read old comics and kind of put it all together. You know what I mean?
No, that's definitely true. I'm going to tell you some real shit. Like, it took me a very long time to read like a Captain America comic, and like I just thought he was so fucking whack. I'm like, bro, nobody give a damn about no whack ass Captain America. And then the series that I had, I can't remember what it was called, but Cap's shield was broken, and he had like the Sonic shield, and he can change it into like different weapons. And what ended up happening was he got like a glimpse at the future, and he saw that the Red Skull won. And he had all these heroes like tied up on like sacrifice crosses outside as he's like the ruler. And like Cap saw flashes of it. And this is a big spoiler from a comic like 20 years ago in actuality. But if you haven't read it yet, you're probably never going to read it. But he stabs Red Skull in the back, right? But the what made it for me was the fact that this Boy Scout character had to justify with himself why he had to kill him. He that was part of the buildup of why he had. He's like, look, man, I don't want to kill this dude. But he was like, look, if you don't kill Red Skull, he kills everybody. And he was like, fuck it, I got to do it. And the panel afterwards of him stabbing Red Skull was really what made me be like, man, if this character can do this or had to build himself up to do this, why is that? And that made me go back and read more Captain America comics. So that's how I feel about this stuff, right? I've only barely read anything involving Black Widow enough to know who she is, right? And I only say that before, like right now. I'm like, oh, I know who Black Widow is. That's Natasha Romanoff. She's a fucking Avenger, right? But like, I didn't go back in to go deeper into it until like after this. I was like, damn, maybe I don't know that much about this character. And maybe there is a lot to this character that I don't know that they could like expand upon. And I can tell you right now, when I was younger, I wasn't really looking at some of the storylines that they have
No.
then as opposed to now, because obviously some of that shit went right over my head. So
there's just so much of it, you know.
It's hellas, dude. Like,
but I think one of the things about this trailer is like there's so much going on. It seems like a big event. You know, it seems weird for something this. I mean, this is comic book movies. You know, everybody's guilty of it. They've been doing it for decades. Even the MCU is guilty of it. Like when that big mothership crashes into London in Thor 2 and nobody else shows up to help. It's like some world-ending event. All these single movies, all these solitary movies have these huge world-ending events and nobody ever rarely comes to help, right? Like this wasn't on your radar. So again, this is yet another trailer where big shit's falling out of the sky. This is an opportunity for somebody else to show up. They may not. I don't know what, you know, Phase 4 MCU is going to look like, but I would like to think that an event this big is going to land on somebody else's radar at some point, or it gets referenced in the future, or it's going to be a tie-in. You know, I don't know.
Well,
I think we got to still realize that it's still movies. You know what I'm saying? You can't have Chris Hemsworth and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. I think we have to. It's a good point. I always thought about that, especially with Dark World. Like, that's some major shit happening. This is an Avenger level event.
Right.
But, You just gotta have usually like you gotta fill in the blanks and say maybe they're busy, maybe they're
I think it's just writing though for me, Tech. Like, just how about not end the world?
Right?
What, like, do you
But then-
have
but then
to
what's the
end the world to
stake?
have a good movie?
I don't.
But
see,
I think in the beginning they had to. But I think now that they've gotten the big one out the way, now they can tell better stories.
so.
You know what I mean?
I think that like I agree with you, man. Like I definitely agree with you, but I honestly don't feel like a lot of these events will show up on everybody's radar, right? Like even in Thor 2, right? Like the Dark World, Shield was going through some shit, right? Like that was during the fall of Shield and like while Hydra was going crazy, right? So like even with like all the stuff going on, like would they show up considering like especially that we know that they're bad guys, and then even the timeline for some of the stuff that's happened? That's one of the things I will give Marvel, actually. That's one thing I will give Marvel. Like they always kind of go back and place shit that's happening, right? Like even in the Black Widow movie, this takes place between what, Civil War and Infinity War, right? So at that point they're telling
It's
you
like
that,
when she pieces out, right?
Right, yeah.
She's like, I'll be back. Yeah.
there's so many pieces that they can't, and I think Marvel does an amazing job of doing this. They also talk about like retroactively making movies, right? So whether it's just them like being like, well, look, there was 5 years here with this blip where anything could have happened, right? And even though they have a movie talking about the instance, Marvel being able to go back and place movies or a movie or an instance or a situation there and then being able to expand upon it. I mean, I'll give you another example that's not even that big, right? But it's not, on the world level. But just the fact that they didn't tell how Thanos got all of his stones, right?
That's true.
But one of the things that people are talking about is the fact that Nova, he got one of those from the Nova Corps, right? And we know that the only reason that Nova exists as a character is because there's no more Nova Corps, right? So now you literally set the stage to either make a movie or put that entire story into another story, right? Another galactic story. And like that's why I say I feel like it's done pretty well, because they're like, oh, you think, that's why I was like, there's a lot of people that always come like, yeah, but this is a plot hole and this is a plot hole. I'm like, how many fucking Marvel movies have you watched, bro? You know that they're gonna either go back and try to touch on it in some way, or they could be like, yeah, we kind of fucked up, right? But they've even shown to go like retroactively and be like, oh, this random kid in Iron Man 2 was actually Peter Parker, right? Like they've been known to do stuff like that. So I'm really not like, I don't really trip off of it that much. But if it's some blaring ass like, yeah, man, this happened here, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute, we haven't had one of the, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think we've had like a big overlap instance just yet.
Yeah, I think we're setting up the next one.
Yeah. But no, once again, man, for the people at home, man, thank you guys for the input. Tech, you was talking about going to a movie theater to see this, right? You trying to see this in the movie
100%.
theater.
I don't give a fuck.
It's 100%.
I'm double Pfizered out. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm ready to roll.
Bro,
just
look,
fucking-
we could just rent out a movie theater. I'm actually down
That's
for
true
that.
too.
Like, you can do that now.
I'll be
fly
down for
back-
that too,
we
actually.
could- no,
like,
dude.
high-key, that would be kind of lit.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, my homie here, shout out to my bro Seabass. I don't know if he's ever gonna watch this, but my homie Seabass, literally once they showed the trailer for this, he was like, yo, Steve, I'm renting out a movie theater. And we were gonna do it like earlier, but you pay, and that way they come in, they clean the movie theater, and you can just get people, that are either vaccinated, or you guys can just keep your own social distance and y'all can go talk about it. I think that shit's pretty cool, and I'm definitely down to do it. So don't leave me out. I might be around town. You never know.
Okay.
So I know we want to. Actually, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna watch this Loki trailer.
Got to.
Right? Watch the Loki
Turn
trailer.
the sound up because I haven't seen it.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna
Didn't you
shut
say you
up.
weren't gonna see it?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it, but that's really fucking stupid. This is the only trailer I haven't seen, so let's go.
All right, and this is the second trailer. I'm gonna be quiet during this one because I want you to take this, and I'm gonna try to be quiet, I should say. But Marvel Studios Loki. This is the second trailer. Ben, you're gonna fucking love this. Check it out.
I know what this place is. The timekeepers have built quite the circus.
What's up with it, Leon Piranha? I hope you guys are enjoying, man. This is the Loki second trailer. Owen Wilson's in this bad boy.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know. Okay. Okay.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
This is absurd.
Sign this too.
Yo, Demon Democracy, I definitely saw your mention of the Flash movie and it's on the docket. I'm definitely going to ask the opinion of the homies here.
Picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help.
Also, Young Kurakami, can y'all make some noise in the chat for the new taste bud, please?
Your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Nah.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Wild, huh?
Dude, this shit looks crazy. Yo, tell me who this looks like. I want you to point out to me who these people look like, Ben.
It is adorable that you think you could possibly manipulate me. I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
You can trust me.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Why never do it again?
Who the fuck is that? Who is that?
No, fuck that. I already know what it is.
He said no.
I swear by it.
He said no, fuck that. I already know who that is. So there you have it. That is the first look at Marvel Studios' Loki. The second trailer starts in June. Guys, this is for the YouTube side of things. Let me know how you guys feel about this Loki. Are you going to watch it? Are you excited to see Tom Hiddleston back? Do you think this is going to be important to the entire scheme of things? I kind of get an idea that it does, considering it has something to do with time. And we have Kang the Conqueror coming. And apparently, the woman in this trailer is playing Kang the Conqueror's love interest. So I feel like this is going to tie a lot closer to the things. This is, I feel like, more of a Marvel Phase 4, very centric to the story of things. Because I've said this before, that Kang showing up is a big fucking thing. And I don't want him to be a villain that gets offed in one movie. And no offense to Paul Rudd and his Ant-Man, but I don't think Ant-Man can take out fucking Kang the Conqueror. I'm just sorry, like that's just how I feel. So I want this to be like a kind of a stop for him to be like, yeah, Kang the Conqueror is coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. But Ben, this is your first time seeing it. You lead the charge. How are you feeling about this so far?
That shit's wild, man. It's another 6 episodes.
It's like 6 episodes.
Yeah, this is great. I love it. It's got a really like weird 1960s. I'm trying to think of what you would even call that sort of genre. It's got like a 60s, 70s like detective kind of like noir deco kind of look to it. It's really strange. I love it though. It's great.
This is gonna be a stretch.
Really cool.
This is gonna be a stretch, but I'm telling you, Ben, this sounds like a story that you would draw a comic for. Like, yeah. I can already, like, I can picture you selling, colors. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can picture you you selling this. But, like, yeah, so Kang the Conqueror is confirmed to be the big bad in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, right? Okay. The 3 faces that you see here when they talk about the judges and the time variance and the whole 9, those people trained Kang the Conqueror. So it seems pretty close to say, it seems pretty easy to say that that's how it's all going to fold out. But they also have mention of woman Loki showing up. They also point out the fact that potentially that whole Black Widow thing, who people say is not Black Widow. But they also give you a representation of like the messed up timeline, how messed up the timeline is, as well as those 3 figures. Those are the teachers of Kang the Conqueror as well, right? So I feel like when we're talking about meddling in time and going back and forth, that this movie and having something to deal with, say, you know, Black Widow is not really far-fetched. Tech, what are your thoughts? Second trailer, Loki, where do you feel like this is gonna fall on some Phase 4 shit? I mean, kind of divergent from what I just said, though.
I think where it lands. I don't want it to like fill holes and shit like that. Like I don't want you like to fix things. I want to see something new. I want this to make me comfortable with the idea of a multiverse. I think that's probably the end result. I feel like every one of these Marvel shows has a theme to it. Like a very one simple theme, like WandaVision was Wanda becomes Scarlet Witch. That's what the show's about.
Right.
I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier is about how does a black man become Captain America? And I think this is going to be about how do you get comfortable with multi-dimensional time travel as a mainstay theory.
Right.
I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
I think visually it's going to be probably the most visual thing we've gotten from the TV, from the Disney Plus side of things.
Right.
Because we only got a little bit with WandaVision, near the end of the series. I think this is going to be visuals nonstop.
Yep.
At least every episode is going to be something. Like some of these scenes are just huge, and like they look massively beautiful. Destroyed world looks like America.
Right.
That's Avengers Tower. Like I can see Avengers Tower toppled. So it's gonna be crazy.
So one of the things that I was pointing at, like I was saying when they showed, one of the things that I point out is that they give you visual representation of how fucked up the timeline is, right?
Yeah. See, Tech says they don't want a show that's fixing the timeline, but that's exactly what the show's about. I know what you're saying, Tech.
Right? Like
you want something new.
Everything, right? Like
Right.
I want it to make sense. Just make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
branch timelines, I get it. Make it make sense though.
So
make it work.
So Ben, I don't want to like hit you with the spoilers or anything. But like, so one of the things that they said that this show would be hinting at was, and it really plays on Loki being like, a mischief maker, right? Or,
yeah, untrustworthy.
Right. So they actually go and they say they place Loki in times for throughout history, say like the magic bullet, right? Like how did that happen? Apparently Loki is involved. Or that arcade game, I can't remember the name of it, that people say existed, but it actually never existed.
Polybius?
Yes. Apparently Loki was involved in that, and they're no, seriously, it's in the trailer. If I don't know if you didn't catch it, but it's actually in the trailer. They have the they have that arcade machine in this trailer, right?
That's
so
awesome.
And as well as the mysterious the bills over the river, and they couldn't find the guy, but all they saw were the bills, and he just disappeared. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at that. But apparently Loki was involved in that, right? So them showing how messed up and how screwed the timeline is really does play a part to how important Loki is going forward. And I don't think it's more about what Tech was saying, like them fixing stuff. I think it's the opposite. I think it's like Loki goes haywire and he goes throughout history and he fucks stuff up, right? And I think that's what the whole point of this is. And I think that they're going to, by doing that, they're going to show us other stuff in the MCU that could potentially happen forward on, or like vice versa, right? Like if we get a look at like Black Widow and she's like, oh, you guys don't even actually know what happened, and she tells us this and then it has no effect, it just gives us like that end to the means of like what the fuck happened, right? Like I would be 100% okay with that. Like I would be 100% okay with that. But no, I'm like super excited for this shit because one, like you said, like the set pieces are amazing. In all honesty, like we're all used to seeing like these films where they're doing like the crazy action and everything, but the fact that you have two actors like, one, Owen Wilson, who is very much like a vocal comedic timing actor, going opposite of, Tom Hiddleston in this role, who is very much a talking, like, hey, I'm going to get the best of you verbally. And I love how they played off of it at the very beginning where he's like, yeah, man, like, you're a very smart guy. He's like, I am smart. He's like, I know you are. He's like, it's because I am. Like, shit like that. That right there, I was like, that's fucking perfect. Because for me, like, they really are playing to the character so much from this very specific time, right? Old Loki, who died at the hands of Thanos, wouldn't be popping off like this. He would not be popping off like this. But this Loki is, the Loki who survived, right? Like, his plan didn't work on planet Earth to take over. And now he's like, well, now I get to go try it again, it feels like. But who knows if that's going to be the case. Regardless,
is he even gonna want that after he sees the multiverse?
Exactly. He
Like,
might want to
Earth's
go
probably
further.
Earth's too small a prize at that point.
Well, either way, so before we get into Falcon and Winter Soldier, I want to ask you guys. So there was a couple things that was announced. They actually gave real confirmation that Michael Keaton would be returning to play Batman in the new Flash movie.
So it's official now.
It's 100% official. It's so official, in fact, that they have released a trailer, a super teaser trailer for the Flash and what's to come. And like, I've watched this multiple times. The only reason I've watched it multiple times because I just like to see what they're trying to do with it. And this looks very different from the Flash that the last time we saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League, just by this little 12-second teaser alone. So if you guys have not seen it, the director of the 2022 Flash movie released a small snippet on his Instagram, and this is what it was. Short, sweet, to the point, nothing too crazy. It comes out in 2022. I don't even know if they started filming this shit yet. But all you have to do is look at the logo. The logo itself is completely different from the Flash logo that we saw the last time we saw him. Even just the way that it's looking, if you see like the shadows on the Flash, the font for the word Flash, if this is any indication, the color of the suit is different and it's taking a more like traditional approach. One of the reasons
music's interesting too, right?
It's super, and it definitely gives you that time-altering heist. Like, I ain't gonna say heist, but like that time-altering, like, you know, bewilderment. Like, what's about to happen? Like one of those, right? Like that's exactly the feel,
Doctor Who shit,
right? That's exactly what I get. Please forgive my mock music. Somebody in the chat, Disciple says this is Golden Age Flash, which makes a lot of fucking sense, right? Because apparently this movie is a Flashpoint, a play on Flashpoint, right? So we might get Thomas Wayne Batman, who a lot of people are theorizing will be played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who would be reprising his role, right, as Thomas Wayne.
Epic.
As well as Ben Affleck officially returning as well to play a Batman. And then you have Michael Keaton returning to play yet another Batman. So this movie is actually going to be crazy. I'm really, really interested in how they're going to try to make this make sense.
I'm not.
You said it's not? I was actually...
I think I'm going to change my name from TechSupreme to DC Hater.
DC? I knew you was...
Like, I literally have, like, nothing positive to say about any of this. Now they're just trying to throw nostalgia at us, so I care. You got Michael Keaton in, I'm supposed to care.
Oh, my God. So you're saying Michael Keaton is not enough for TechSupreme to go see the new Flash movie with Ezra Miller?
You know, I'm gonna see it,
obviously,
but I'm not gonna be. I don't have high hopes for it. You know, like I really don't. And they can. I've seen people do this, right? Like if something doesn't work, like they'll try to get you with that retro shit right in your heart. Mm-hmm. This ain't gonna work for me. You gotta give me more than that.
You gotta wake up early in the net, man. I feel you on that one. I definitely feel you on that. That's how I feel. This is completely side topic, but that's how I feel about a lot of Nintendo games, bro. You can't keep selling me. Mario can't do everything, man. He's gonna become a diplomat after this. He's gonna go to a foreign country, take it over. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen, man? What can't Mario do? Let this motherfucker retire. Anyways,
get married, apparently.
And you know what's weird about it? I know that Spider-Man's about to do the exact fucking same thing. Yeah. But for some reason, it seems more genuine because they are so used to fan service. They're so used to doing stuff for us.
They're gonna
make. I feel like they're gonna make it for, you know what I'm saying? Like make it make sense, make it move for us. And with DC, I always feel like it's all just a money grab. They're trying to pull on your retro strings to get you to fucking care about this movie that they don't even fucking care about.
So wait. So before I go into this,
I'm sorry, I hate to be that guy.
No, bro, yo, look, the floor here on Tasty TV is always yours. Okay, you look. If you hear talking, people are gonna listen. All right, Ben, what do you think? The plot. I don't know if you read the Flashpoint plot, but the story of Flashpoint, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the only Flash story I ever give a fuck about. I don't know how they're gonna top this story in ever of writing a Flash comic book ever, but it's the only one that I care about. Are you interested in this at all?
I'm interested. I don't know enough. I have not. I don't dislike DC. I dislike the people in charge, Warner Brothers, the execs, whatever.
True.
I think they got their head in their ass. But
Yeah.
I don't think all the DC movies are lack of fan service. I love Batfleck a whole bunch. He's an amazing Dark Knight.
Ditto, 100% ditto.
I mean, yeah.
And you heard me gush about the Snyder's Justice League. I like Ezra as Flash. I like that Justice League. I like to see it keep going. Tech has said this over the years. Warner Brothers needs to double down on their timeline and make it
They
work.
won't.
But,
They said
you
they
know,
are though. They said from here going forward that they're gonna have a collected, like an actual universe, right? But I also read, and I don't know how true this is, that only like 3 characters will make it from the original like universe, right? Because my thought process is, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious at this point, that this is going to be a reboot for the entire DC universe, right? And I will say I do like that idea. I love
sound like doubling down then.
Right?
Not at all.
Right?
This is the opposite of doubling down.
Well, I guess so. I mean, but I think it's doubling down because it's not admitting like all these other universes. And just like in like the DC Rebirth thing, the thing is that they have the same problem in comic books. They keep resetting their universe,
of course,
and nobody gives a fuck about these characters. Like it's like
there's like 4 Batman books right now, 2 Superman books.
But you can't let that. You can't. They set out to do the DCEU. You cannot use that excuse of comic books, like the way comic books are written.
I understand.
To write off that bullshit Warner Brothers been doing to us.
I'm right there. I'm 100% right there with you. I am. I'm just saying, what if, right? What if, air quotations, what if this is the start of something good? What if the fact that they're going and saying, well, look, we're going to reboot this, right? Reboot this. And now, actually, before we get into Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm definitely going to talk about another reboot that I think is about time to happen. But what if they go and they say, well, look, what if the Flash movie is good? What if this all makes sense? I like how you.
I will.
I will
season.
You just spit into the microphone. You got a pretty expensive mic, bro.
So
you did
loud.
not have to do
I
that.
will
Dude, you got
season
one of
your
the pop
chicken.
covers, bro. I'm like,
I will season your chicken with to all the haters out there. I think making movies is hard.
very.
I think, and what
Absolutely.
MCU has done is a fucking fluke.
Unprecedented.
Right. So let's just dial back the expectations and watch a fucking King Kong versus Godzilla fucking silly goose.
Nah, man.
time. You know what I mean? Like, just try,
Nah,
you know, you can't keep holding everything up to fucking Scorsese standards. That's
I'm not
ridiculous.
saying it has to be Scorsese. All right, hold on. I got to put my 2 cents in on this. First off, I agree with Tech. They're definitely fucking up all their historic ass characters by not doing them the service of giving them a continuity that makes sense when you're making fucking movies and shows off of it. Why do you have, like, I don't want it to be this convoluted ass thing. I feel like that's one of the things that turns people away from comics to begin with, is the fact that it's so convoluted and you're like, well, what happens when? And now they got 2 timelines, there's 7 flashes, what the hell's going on, right? Like, I understand it, right?
My students who are learning how to make comic books right now do not want to buy Marvel and DC because they don't know where to start.
See,
Like, you can't just go to the comic book store and buy a Marvel book and pretend you know what's going on. It's ridiculous.
If that's the case, if that's the logic, then none of us would ever.
I'm sorry,
fucking
Captain
pick up a
Charisma.
comic
I'm
book.
sorry.
I just mean to new people. I just mean to people like, you know, not as hardcore about it. But like,
I hear you.
think Marvel and DC have had a long history of being convoluted.
Yeah, no, that's why I like the idea of them using Flash, like them. Okay, so just to make it as simple as possible, I like the fact that the Flash is kind of like the timestamp avatar. Like, if he's the person that like knows everything, and it's constantly passed from like on some Flash shit to like because of the Speed Force, and it's already kind of gave us that hint. This is another reason why I really like the Zack Snyder's Justice League, is because they gave vocal cues, just small lines to where these characters were headed. And when like Flash, when Barry Allen was running, he was like, Joe, you got to make your own future. You know, like, and him pointing out like what happens to time when he does certain things. I think this is a perfect follow-up. Like the fact that, right? Like, am I wrong for that?
What Flash are we going to get, though? Are we going to get that confident, I can go through time Flash that we got in Snyder Cut? Or are we going to get the bumbling idiot that we got in Whedon's version or whatever?
See,
what Flash do we even get?
That's true, because they've said that the Joss Whedon version is the canon version, right?
Oh, so we're gonna get the idiot. We just understand brunch.
It's a different director though. Like it's a different director though. It's not like the same person. And on top of that, right, the Flashpoint storyline is significantly darker. Like it's super dark. So it's like, how are they going? Like that's why I'm giving. But then I look at how they're making this out to be, and I really hope that you're wrong, Tech. I hope they don't give us this bumbling idiot Ezra Miller Flash, and I don't want that. I want them to. Honestly, I want it to look like. I want this to be their time. I want Flash to be their timeline. Like even if they did something dope where they like go into the future, because obviously they're gonna be in the past, right? But if they go into the future and like show us some crazy shit like Batman Beyond or some shit like that, because we're getting a lot of Batmans. What if they're like, yo, we're going to fucking 2099 and you hear that, and it's fucking Batman Beyond? I will actually explode. I'm telling you right now. Like if they give me Terry McGinnis Batman, I'm fucking screaming and I swear blood's gonna come out my eyes. I'm telling you right now. But that's just wishful thinking. I'm trying to like temper it, but I feel like if you're going to play, this is how I feel like it'll succeed. If you can, this has to be a fan service movie. It has to be. If this is a fan service movie, you literally can go back and pay homage to every fucking DC lineage ever. The Golden Age of Heroes, which I feel like the Golden Age of Heroes is like DC's fucking point, bro. Like Christopher Reeve's Superman and playing to Michael Keaton Batman, and I know it's a big nostalgia draw, like fucking Tech said, but like if they really want to pull it all together, which makes a lot of sense, I feel like the Flash is that starting point. I hope it's that starting point, by the way.
Yeah, I guess before I sign up, I need to see I need to see the real trailer.
See a real trailer.
No, I have a better idea.
Okay. All right. I hold my.
It does seem weird to cherry pick what we're going to be nostalgic about. To scoff at one people going, oh, that's just a nostalgia trip, but then people are literally crying when Captain America holds the hammer. Like, what do you?
Tech, your rebuttal.
What are we saying here? What are you going to say about me?
Why are you like condemning one fan service against the other? Why are you saying like one is pandering and one's not?
Tech was like offended. Like it's like he was walking out, and so he heard somebody say something, and he was like, "Excuse me, what did you say?"
It's because it's kind of felt like I threw a direct dagger directly at him.
You hit him in the back.
Yeah, it was a weak jab. So here's the thing. Here's the difference. DC, that's the difference. Marvel, it's as simple as that. Like Marvel,
you're right, though.
I can list so many things that Marvel's done over the last 13 or 12 years, however long it's been, that was like, oh, this is for the fans. Like this is, like these is very small things to very big things. And when I see the DC movies, I don't get that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I get Jonathan Kent choosing suicide over his wife. I just don't like. So that's the reason. It's the stock that I have in it, where it feels like Marvel does it more for you nothing DC has ever done has made me cry in a movie theater. There's 3, 4, 5 things that Endgame did that made me cry a grown man cry in a movie theater, and I'll fight you about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna be 100% honest, man. Like Endgame, bro, like the entire last 45 minutes of that movie was like literally like, hey, you guys like comics, right? Yeah! Look at all of this shit. And I'm legit just fucking give me tissue. So I legit blacked out in hype watching Endgame. Like I'm not that's not an exaggeration. Like my friend Rip was like, yo, Steve, there's no way you saw that. I'm like, bro, I don't even know where I am right now. I gotta come back and see this movie because legit, I screamed so hard, I blacked out. All I remember is like Cap catching the hammer, and I was like, oh shit! And then I was like, what happened? Like that has actually never happened to me. And Tech is right. In the DC film, I feel like they try so hard, you know, to make this happen. And
the big haymaker was Martha, dude.
Yeah, like I know what they're trying to do. Like, and I'm here to say I know exactly what they're. There are certain things that are very cinematic. They have some crazy set pieces when it comes to like DC, and like I ain't gonna say I'm whole side with Tech here, but like there were some things here I was like, okay, I can see what they're going for. In Batman versus Superman, that whole warehouse fight scene of Batman, like fucking them doing the small callbacks to the Dark Knight as well. I mean, even Zack Snyder at the end showing the big ass tank, the imagery of Batman. Like there's a lot of things that I feel like cinema wise was done right. I just feel like the delivery of it was very lackluster. It left a lot more, and not on all fronts, right? Because I love Shazam, right? I really liked Wonder Woman. I will fight anybody about Man of Steel, and I fucking hate Superman, right? Like, and I actually hate that character, but I'm like, bro, you can't tell me that, like, even with what I understand about Superman and him being an iconic character, they did that shit for me in a very, and I ain't gonna say a very different way, but in a way that's not typical of what I've read. And I felt like that's why it worked. So them taking these different approaches isn't the worst thing. It's just the fact that it's not being done to what we kind of expect, considering we've seen Marvel do this shit for 10, 11 years at this point, right? Like, it's like...
Here's the problem with DC movies with me. They have moments of brilliance, like the warehouse fight scene with Batman is literally one of the best fight scenes I've seen of Batman in anything.
Yep, facts. Facts.
Even the Zod Superman fight was...
Oh my God.
Fucking insane, right?
Where did you learn how to fight? On a farm? I was in the movie theater and I got up and walked away like somebody just spit on me, bro. I was like, oh my God.
And then like you have the Batman versus Superman fight, which was really good because Batman like did Batman. He outsmarted Superman and won. But then we have that bullshit ass Doomsday fight after that.
Yeah.
And then just throw Wonder Woman in there, just throw her in there. Like it was, they do things like that where they have these moments of brilliance and then just throw the ball on the ground.
That's how I feel about that. What you just said is how I feel about like a lot of DC storylines in some instances, but that's why I feel like I'm a fan of them using that to like reboot it, right? Like if they say, well, you know what, this shit was actually a shit show, let's not do a reboot where it doesn't make sense, right? We're not gonna give you a reboot where we don't tell you what happens. We're gonna give you a reboot and it's actually gonna involve one of the characters. I think that's one of my draws to it. Like, you've never had a series, I mean, I could be wrong, that literally gave you a reset using an actual person as the Deus Machina, right? Like, it's been like, yeah, it's just that one person. And we've seen it in comics, but in a movie that's gonna look anything like this, possibly, I'm gonna say possibly because I don't know what this guy's vision is outside of this emblem with, the after shadows on it. Like, that's it, Like, I think on paper, if they was like, yo, Steve, can you make this movie? I'd be like, free. Like, but if, I don't know what the fuck DC, I don't know what Warner Brothers is thinking with this film. So I understand both sides of the argument is what I'm trying to say.